Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just be officially updating you on some latest news. So as I did give you my Wolves versus Manchester United preview yesterday evening, obviously we do know that Man United go up against Wolves on Monday evening. Of course it is an 8 o'clock kick-off. We do know this is going to be a tough encounter for Manchester United. Obviously it's our second game of the Premier League season, of course our first away game of the season, but you know Wolves very competitive. You know the record against the top 6 sides is very good, after of course that got indicated out last season and all that. And Wolves are also very good defensively. You know they also are very good from set pieces, and Wolves of course have got good players. Obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has lost all his 3 games against Wolves. Obviously twice with Manchester United last season, and I think he also lost to Wolves once with Cardiff City. So you know Wolves seems to be a bit of a bogey team for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and that. But I think this is going to be a different sort of game, you know, against Wolves and that, as you know, than what we saw last season. Because obviously, you know, we lost twice to Wolves last season. I think we also drew to Wolves last season. I think it was 1-1 at Old Trafford last season. Wolves, of course, beat us in the FA Cup 2-1, and I think they also, you know, beat us in the league 2-1. Did Wolves, so it is going to be a pretty tough game and that. Obviously, you know, there's. I think Solskjaer probably, you know, will go with a similar team, you know, as he did do against Chelsea, but I do believe, you know, he will rotate a little bit in that. So maybe, you know, Fred, you know, could get given the chance, because obviously, you know, he didn't play against Chelsea. With Fred, you know, we expect big things from Fred this season, because I think, you know, Fred, you know, will definitely, you know, get his opportunities. Obviously, you know, Fred, you know, enjoyed a difficult time, you know, in his first season with Manchester United, but let's be honest, he never really got the chance under the Jose Mourinho era. But Fred was very impressive throughout pre-season. You know, he also did, you know, very well, you know, towards the back end of last season. So I still don't know if he's the long-term solution for Manchester United. Fred, obviously, you know, Matteo Darmian, he served his 2 requirements at Manchester United. Obviously, you know, he didn't, you know, play out throughout pre-season. That obviously wasn't even named in the squad against Chelsea. I think Darmian, you know, has returned back to training. Obviously, with news regarding Alexis Sanchez. Obviously, you know, there's still uncertainty regarding his future. Amid, you know, intense speculation linking him with a move to Italy. But actually, you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's give his overarching view on Alexis Sanchez. You know, he still insists that Sanchez, you know, wants to be part of the Manchester United squad. Sanchez, you know, could get given his opportunities this season, but I think he could actually, you know, remain at Manchester United, because I think, you know, due to his substantial wages, it's actually, you know, having due to his substantial wages, I think it's this is the stumbling block of him, you know, potentially, you know, leaving Manchester United and that. Obviously, there was rumours going out earlier on this week saying that he was going to be sent to, you know, train with the Manchester United reserves, and obviously, you know, to get him out the football club and that. But obviously, you know, there were reports coming out early on this week, or was it last week, you know, saying that Roma had been in talks of, you know, taking Sanchez out on a long season loan and that. And maybe he could be open to making a return back to Italy. Don't forget, when he was younger, you know, Sanchez did have 5 good years in Italy, you know, with underneath and that. But I think there's like a trio of Italian clubs now that are in for him. I think Juventus are interested in him, Napoli are interested in him, I think also AC Milan and that are interested in him. But I think, you know, due to his substantial wages, you know, this could be a stumbling block of him, you know, leaving Manchester United, because obviously Sanchez is on 400 grand a week, you know, potentially rising up to 500 grand a week, you know, obviously, you know, based on the image rights and the bonuses, and obviously he's the highest paid player at the football club, he's the highest paid player in the Premier League and that. Obviously Sanchez wasn't part of the squad against Chelsea. Obviously, you know, wasn't part of the pre-season squad, because obviously, you know, he'd been playing on a Copa America duty with Chile, and I think he had sustained a hamstring injury. But I think Sanchez is working now on his full fitness and that, and he has been below on his fitness, but I think, you know, he should be fine for the Wolves game on Monday. So maybe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer still believes that he's a big part of the squad this season, even though he's below, you know, the likes of Greenwood, Rashford, Martial, Daniel James and that. And Sanchez, you know, will find game time very difficult, but he has been so inconsistent for Manchester United as Alexis Sanchez. He has been, you know, a huge disappointment. Obviously, you know, we've had him since January 2018. Obviously, he came to Manchester United as part of a swap deal of Mkhitaryan, you know, going to Arsenal and that. But you know, Sanchez, since his arrival, he's made 45 appearances and only managed 5 goals. So that just indicates how, you know, how inconsistent, of course, that he has, you know, currently been in that. And you know, he doesn't really have a future at the club anyway. You know, he's 30 years of age now. He's also becoming injury prone, you know, since come to Manchester United, you know, sustained quite a few injuries last season. But you know, Sanchez was an exceptional player at Arsenal. He did have 4 good years at Arsenal. He even did have 3.5 good years at Barcelona when he was younger, and he played under Pep Guardiola's guidance. But obviously hasn't replicated many of this form at Manchester United. So obviously there is still uncertainty about his future. Don't forget, we have got until the 2nd of September, you know, to negotiate the sale of players. Obviously because you know the European transfer window is open until the 2nd of September. I do believe Sanchez is one of the problematic players at the football club, and I think the vast majority of Manchester United fans, you know, do currently, you know, want him out. There's quite a few Italian clubs now that are in for him. I think, you know, we would be happy to pay the majority of his substantial wages, you know, to get him out on a long season loan. But I just think we'll find it very, very difficult to offload him and that. I think, you know, the only way we can get rid of him anyway is putting him on a long season loan. It would be definitely hard for us, you know, to get rid of Alexis Sanchez permanently and that. But actually, Sanchez is refusing to leave the football club. But you know, could participate against Wolves possibly. Obviously, you know, we've got a couple of injuries. I think there's only 2 players that are out with injury. Obviously, we do know that Eric Bailly has got a serious knee injury. Obviously, you know, Eric Bailly had sustained this injury, you know, throughout pre-season. Obviously, you know, Eric Bailly is out for up to 5 months, and that, so he's out until Christmas. And I think Eric Bailly is a very imperative player, and you know, he's got great potential in that. But I think his Manchester United career has been mainly affected, you know, with the amount of injuries he has sustained and that. And I think also, you know, with his fallout under managers, it's really taken its toll on like Eric Bailly in that. So obviously, you know, he's out with an injury. I do believe also, you know, Foster Mensah's injured. I think also Demetri Mitchell was recently injured. This is why he didn't play, you know, throughout pre-season and that. So we haven't got, you know, many injuries. But Wolves are a very, very good team. Like I said, you know, they've got great players. You know, they did well last season. You know, they finished 7th, did Wolves. I think they actually, you know, got qualification for the Europa League. Wolves, you know, drew their first game with Leicester 0-0. You know, Wolves were quite unlucky in that game because I thought, you know, Wolves played quite well. But I think, you know, Wolves could have a pretty decent season this season. But anyway, you know, we've had a fantastic start to the season so far. You know, we did well throughout pre-season, winning 6 games out of 6, scoring 12 goals and only conceding 3 goals. And of course, it was good to see us, you know, start off with a fantastic win against Chelsea, you know, winning by 4 goals to 0. Overall, very, very good performance from Manchester United. You know, it was very, very good, you know, to see Daniel James coming off the bench to score on his debut. And I think Daniel James is still a prospect and needs time to develop and that. But I think he's going to succeed at Manchester United. It was good to see in the Chelsea game Rashford score 2 goals. It was also good to see, you know, Martial, you know, score. It was also good to see, you know, Paul Pogba, you know, provide 2 assists. And it was also good to see, you know, Andres Pereira, you know, provide an assist. I thought Andres Pereira, you know, did very, very well against Chelsea. You know, in the first 15 to 20 minutes of the Chelsea game, you know, Chelsea were on top in the game. You know, they pressed high, they kept the ball well. You know, they created some decent opportunities. Don't forget they hit the woodwork and they hit, you know, the crossbar. But I think as soon as we went 1-0 up, that's when obviously, you know, we started to take control of the game. But I thought the second half, you know, was a very, very dominant performance from Manchester United and that. And yeah, so we deserved to win that game. And I think, you know, the young players were at fruition, you know, throughout pre-season. I think, you know, the young players are going to be at fruition this season because obviously, you know, they're all going to get the chance. I should believe the young upcoming players, you know, the fringe players, you know, the experienced players, and Solskjaer, you know, will rotate, you know, quite a few times. You know, with Mason Greenwood, obviously, you know, he's been assured more playing time this season. He looked good when he came off the bench against Chelsea, did Mason Greenwood. Obviously, you know, Greenwood's only 17 years of age, but we have seen glimpses of how good he is because he was good for the reserves last season. He was also good throughout pre-season, like I've just said. He did well when he came on against Chelsea. So the likes of Greenwood, Chong, you know, Angel Gomez, I think they're going to be a big part of the squad this season and that. Obviously with Alex Tuanzebe, you know, I think he'll definitely, you know, get given his opportunities. You know, he possibly, you know, could, you know, participate in the Wolves game, could Alex Tuanzebe. You know, obviously we're orchestrating on keeping Alex Tuanzebe, obviously, you know, following the serious knee injury that Eric Bailly had sustained. I think with Alex Tuanzebe though, you know, he's you know, we have seen glimpses of how good he is. He did well throughout pre-season. You know, he also, you know, did well on his loan spell with Aston Villa last season. So in that aspect, you know, he has gained a bit more experience. So he'll definitely get his chances this season. You know, I think McTominay is going to definitely start against Wolves. You know, I think McTominay, you know, looks very, very good in the Chelsea game alongside Paul Pogba in our midfield. I think in this game, though, against Wolves, we need to free up Paul Pogba because that's where he seems to be more effective, Pogba, you know, when he's freed up and all that. But with McTominay, Pereira and Fred, as you all know, I've still got strong reservations about them. I don't know if they are the long-term solutions for Manchester United in that. But I think McTominay will improve this season because when he's at his best, McTominay, you know, he plays between the lines well. His defensive contributions and that's very, very good. good. You know, I think Pereira, you know, he's done quite well as well. Pereira, you know, did well on his loan spells though with Granada and Valencia, you know, when he went on loan in Spain and that. But I just don't know if they've got all the attributes, you know, to succeed at Manchester United and that. My thoughts about Nemanja Matic, I don't think he'll play in this game. Obviously, Matic actually, you know, was first choice last season, because our first choice last season was actually, you know, Matic, Pogba and Herrera in that midfield. That was our first choice midfield trio now, but obviously there's been a change because obviously Matic is, I think he's no longer first choice. Obviously Herrera left the club and that. But with Matic anyway, you know, he's too inconsistent, he's too slow, you know, he makes that midfield, you know, look totally imbalanced and that. And, you know, people do talk about, you know, what Matic has won, you know, because he has won silver and that as the Nemanja Matic. I think he won a couple of titles with Chelsea and he is highly experienced, and we have seen glimpses of how, you know, good he can be, because we have seen him at his best when, you know, at Manchester United and that, but he's not, he's aging up, you know, he's not getting any younger. And I think the likes of Fred, Pereira and you know, Fred Pereira and McTominay, you know, they're much better solutions than the Nemanja Matic, because I think they're more mobile on the ball, and I think, of course, they are better on the ball and that. So, you know, the Nemanja Matic, I don't think, you know, should be starting this game and that. Perhaps maybe Lingard, I think, you know, will participate in this game. Perhaps maybe Lingard, you know, could play in that number 10, because obviously, you know, Lingard, you know, can play in that number 10, and I think Lingard's done quite well. I did say he's the long-term solution for Manchester United. I've got the same thoughts of Martial and Rashford. You know, Jesse Lingard, he was inconsistent in the last couple of months of last season, just like Martial and Rashford were, but I think, you know, Lingard, Martial and Rashford are going to really improve this season. And, you know, my thoughts about Martial and Rashford, you know, I've set a tally for them basically. I've set around at 20 goals for them this season. You know, Martial, I think he's going to do well this season. I think he should score at least from between 15 and 20 goals. I mean, Rashford, I think he should score them at least 20 goals. Obviously, we do know Martial's been given that number 9 shirt. Obviously, you know, he seems to be more effective in that central position, Martial, as that got proven, you know, throughout pre-season. That I know he primarily plays out wide, but seems to be more effective in that central position. So, obviously, we do know how much of an imperative play that Martial is and Rashford, and obviously, you know, they are developing fantastically well. You know, with Marcus Rashford, you know, he can play centrally, you know, he can also, you know, play out wide. We do mainly see the best of Rashford, you know, centrally, but Rashford was actually poor towards the back end of last season, because I think it was due to the injuries, you know, he had sustained. Obviously, you know, that had taken its toll on Rashford, but Rashford is only 23, of course. Martial is only 20, Rashford's 21, sorry, you know, Martial is only 23 and that. But analysing our squad, it is a good squad, like I said, but it isn't good enough yet, you know, to win the Premier League. I don't think we'll win the Premier League this season. I did say we'll have a better season this season than what we saw last season, because last season was a huge disappointment. You know, we finished 6th. Obviously, you know, we failed to qualify the Champions League and that, and we've actually failed to qualify for the Champions League 3 times out of the last 6 seasons, you know, since Alex Ferguson's retirement and that. But I do believe, you know, Solskjaer give his overall analysis, you know, on the summer transfer window and that. You know, he was delighted with our summer transfer business. You know, obviously he recommended, you know, 3 good players in. You know, we spent £148 million on Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka, on Harry Maguire, of course. I thought Daniel James was good on his Premier League debut against Chelsea when he came on as a substitute. I also thought Wan-Bissaka was fantastic on his debut against Chelsea. And Wan-Bissaka's got all the ingredients required, you know, to become a huge success at Manchester United. Obviously, he's going to be our first choice right back this season. You know, we have got quite a few full-backs in our squad. You know, we've got Ashley Young, of course, who's a backup. I think Ashley Young, you know, I think at the end of this season, you know, he should actually, you know, retire, because obviously now he's coming to an end of his career. He's Ashley Young. I know the club gave him a new 1-year extension last season and that, but he's the backup. Also, don't forget, you know, we've got Diego Dalot, of course, you know, who's another fullback. You know, you can also put Diego Dalot or the right, you can put him at left back, you can also put him as a right winger, so his versatility is very good. So I think Dalot will get his chances this season. We've got Darmian, who's one of our fullbacks, but obviously he serves his 2 requirements now at the club. Obviously you've got Luke Shaw, who's obviously not our first choice left back. My opinions on Luke Shaw, I thought he was good last season. That's why he's obviously got named. That's why he won the That's why he won the Player of the Season twice. You know, Luke Shaw reflecting on his impressive performances. Was quite average against Chelsea, but you know, I still think he's definitely the long-term solution for Manchester United. So you know, we have got quite a few fullbacks in that. But Wan-Bissaka is going to definitely, you know, succeed. Manchester United, his defensive abilities are good. He's only 21 years of age. He's well Premier League proven. Only made his senior debut back in February 2018. I think he accepts the ball really well, and he's a really good player. He's Wan-Bissaka. With Harry Maguire, I thought he was fantastic on his Premier League debut against Chelsea. I thought he was the man of the match, Harry Maguire. If I had to pick a man of the match, I'm going to go with Harry Maguire, because Harry Maguire's distribution is good. He's also very good in the air. He shows that ability to play out from the back. Not very fast, but I don't think that's a concern of element. He's very, very good in the air, like I said. He's highly experienced. He's 26 years of age. Still got a lot of years ahead of him in that. And obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first choice centre-back partnership this season is obviously not going to be Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof. Maybe in the cup games, could rotate him a little bit in that. But I think they're going to blend in fantastically well together throughout the course this season, Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof. Maybe we did overpay for Harry Maguire a little bit. We did overpay for him. £80 million maybe is too substantial of what we've paid for him, basically. But I think, he's going to succeed at Manchester United and all that. And obviously, Harry Maguire is the most expensive defender in the world. Obviously, he's our second most expensive signing, just behind Paul Pogba, of course, who we paid £89 million for. But Harry Maguire is going to do really, really well. And I think Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof, can emulate into like a Vidic and Ferdinand, because, Vidic and Ferdinand, they were a fantastic centre-back partnership, under the Alex Ferguson era. But Harry Maguire is the best option than what we've currently got in our backline at the moment. Victor Lindelof, I think he's flourishing at Manchester United. These question marks, can he keep the consistency up? And I think he can keep the consistency up, because Victor Lindelof now is entering his, third season at Manchester United. Obviously, he did really, really well in his second season with the club. He didn't really settle in his first season, lacked that consistency, but I think there has been massive improvements in Victor Lindelof's game and I think he's going to succeed at Manchester United, is Victor Lindelof. Obviously, he did well throughout pre-season as well. Also did very, very well against Chelsea, held his line fantastically well. But I think, they're going to do really, really well. I think these more players that do need to be sold because he's still problematic players in the football club. And I think we do now need to get rid of at least one central defender, because analysing it now, we've got a lot of central defenders in our squad. We've got a lot of central defenders in our squad. Obviously, we've got the likes of, Harry Maguire, Victor Lindelof, Eric Bailly, Marcus Rojo, Alex Tuanzebe, Smalling, Jones. So we've got around 6 or 7 central defenders in that. So I think we do need to get rid of at least one. I think Rojo is the likely one that will leave if any central defender goes. Obviously, Rojo is surplus to requirements at Manchester United. I think, to be fair to Rojo, he did really, really well throughout pre-season, did Marcus Rojo. But I think, his Manchester United career has been mainly affected, the amount of injuries he's sustained. Obviously, he's injury prone. I've got the same thoughts about Eric Bailly. He's injury prone, and that, Rojo can play centrally. He can also, don't forget, play out on the left. Obviously, reports were emerging out, was it on deadline day? Obviously, saying that Everton, obviously, went in for him. Obviously, we put around the £25 million valuation on him. Obviously, I think we've had Rojo now, is it around 4 or 5 years now he's been at the football club, and we have seen glimpses of how good he can be. But obviously, I think it's just pointless, Rojo being here now. I think he's just got under 2 years remaining on his contract with Manchester United, and that Rojo is highly experienced now as well. He's 29 years of age. But I think, we can still get rid of Rojo in this window, don't forget. We can still let him go to a European team. Obviously, with Darmian, I think he also needs to leave the football club. Obviously, his Manchester United career has been mainly affected because he hasn't, really been given the opportunity, really. Obviously, hasn't been first choice. I think during his Manchester United tenure as well, Darmian has sustained quite a few injuries. So I think Darmian and Rojo are two problematic players at the football club, and I think, we could maybe generate around, 30 or 35 million pounds for their departure. So they're two players Man United need to get rid of. My overarching view on Smalling and Jones, I think it's a bit pointless them being here. Obviously, in Everton, try getting Chris Smalling on a loan, but obviously, Manchester United turned this down. I think that was a couple of days before their deadline day. Obviously, Chris Smalling and Phil Jones, obviously, going to find game time very, very difficult this season. Obviously, because Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's preference ahead of Smalling and Jones. Smalling and Jones may still get the chance in that, because I said Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will rotate in that, but I just think there's certain players here now that are no longer good enough to represent Manchester United. Obviously, Smalling's been here 9 years. Obviously, Phil Jones has been here 8 years. So, obviously, they have been 2 long-serving players at the club. Obviously, they've won everything here domestically, English. They've won. They've obviously, won everything here domestically, Smalling and Jones, because they have been 2 long-serving players at the club. Obviously, they have been here, since the Alex Ferguson era and that. But like I said, Harry Maguire is a good upgrade to the likes of Chris Smalling and Phil Jones. But I'm really, really happy that we got that experienced centre-half in. I'm really happy that we got that right-back in. But, don't get me wrong, there's still key areas, where Manchester United are lacking. Obviously, that midfield, does really concern me. But it was always going to be hard for us, to address all the problematic areas in one summer transfer window. year. But the good news is that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to remain at Manchester United at least for this season, because I think, like I keep saying, the board have come to terms, that they didn't back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer enough, throughout the course of the summer. They didn't recommend all the signings, that he wanted in, and all that. And I think, the board do realise this. So I think the board have assured that they're going to back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in January. They're also going to possibly, back him next summer and that. But at the start of this summer, actually, the board did assure that there was going to be backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But I did say certain players, would have had reservations about joining the football club. Obviously, because we're not in a Champions League football for this season. But like I said, I think the players we was in for throughout the course of the summer, we will probably, with our interest in them, in the January window. I think we'll definitely go in for Bruno. We'll reignite our interest in Bruno Fernandes in January. We could possibly go in for Christian Eriksen. We could possibly, go back in for Paulo Dybala in that. We could even possibly go back in for Mandzukic. So these were the players, that Manchester United, were in for, throughout the course of the summer. But throughout the course of the summer anyway, there was a lot of speculation about players coming in and, of course, players going and that. But I think Solskjaer had spoken with Ed Woodward anyway about the lack of business, in the transfer market and that. But I think our squad is definitely, good enough for a top 4 finish. But I think our expectations anyway this season will be to finish in that top 4, possibly, win some silver. I think if we finish in the top 4 this season, maybe I think we could finish in the top 3, should I say, and win the Europa League. It will be a very, very successful season for Manchester United. That's my overarching view on that. But we've got big ambitions for the future, and obviously, no. And we're doing, obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, wants to get Manchester United, back to winning silver. And this is obviously something that he does want to bring back to the football club, and that wants to bring that winning mentality back to the football club. Wants to bring that fear factor back to the football club, because that fear factor hasn't really been there, since Alex Ferguson's retirement and all that. But I'm very, very glad, we've had a fantastic start to the season. Obviously, I want to give you some news as well, like I updated you yesterday. Joel Pereira has left Manchester United. I think he's gone to Scotland on loan with Hearts, so obviously, he's gone on loan to Hearts. But I think, actually, 4 players that have departed the football club, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival. Obviously, we do know Valencia left at the end of last season after he served 10 years with Manchester United. Obviously, we do know Lukaku left the other week. Obviously, it was very, very good business in that aspect for Manchester United, generating a substantial amount for the player that was a flop, basically. Obviously, we've recouped the money that we did pay for Lukaku a couple of years ago. Obviously, now I do believe we'll pocket that, and obviously, look to spend that money in January. Obviously, we do know that Herrera left the club. Obviously, Marouane Fellaini, of course, left the club, back in the January transfer window and that. And basically, it's in our plans, to actually get replacements for Herrera and Marouane Fellaini. So basically, we're orchestrating on keeping Paul Pogba at the football club, because it was initially in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans anyway, to build a side around Paul Pogba and that. But obviously, as you all know, at the start of the summer, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer worked out his transfer strategy, wants to recommend a number of young players in that can grow, develop and emulate in superstars and that. And, at least he had some kind of transfer strategy, reflecting back under the Jose Mourinho era, there wasn't really any transfer strategy, there was no sort of winning philosophy in that. Obviously Mourinho didn't get back, the board didn't back the signings that Jose Mourinho, wanted to recommend into the football club last summer and that, because obviously our priority last summer anyway, was to recommend a central defender. In Mourinho had bad disputes with the board as well, and had bad disputes with the top players and that, and this is why it didn't work out. This is why Jose Mourinho's tenure, didn't work out at Manchester United and all that. Even though he's got a proven pedigree, obviously, he was one of the best managers in the world. Obviously, won stuff, everywhere he'd been in that. But we spent a substantial amount, over the years. Like I said, 148 million pounds has been spent this summer under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Obviously, just under 400 million pounds was spent under Mourinho on 11 players. Also, a substantial amount was spent back under Louis van Gaal. We spent just under 200 odd million pounds back under the Louis van Gaal era. He brought a lot of players in, and there's still some players in now from the Louis van Gaal era that Solskjaer's inheriting. He's inheriting 11 of Jose Mourinho's players and that. And he's still married from the David Moyes era and that. No, initially Fellaini was here, but obviously, like I said, he left back in January. And there's still players here from the Alex Ferguson era, of course, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is inheriting. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, is still in the process basically rebuilding. Solskjaer did say at the start of the summer, he wants to build the squad, with the club's mystery and that. And quite a few people said at the start of the summer, we should be sent responsibility of our current recruitment, because, you know, we've got a history of spending big on players. You know, we've also spent a hell of a lot of money into the football club in the last, 6 years or so. I think it got estimated at, around £968 million that we've spent, you know, since Alex Ferguson's retirement. So that figure is just below £1 billion and that. But if you want to take into account, you know, what we spent under Alex Ferguson, you know, for 20 odd years and that, you know, it's way over £1 billion that Manchester United, of course, have spent. But like I said, you know, we have overpaid for players, especially, you know, in recent years, and, you know, we've spent a hell of a lot of money. But we know we can do that because one of the richest clubs in the world, you know, we're a massive club. You know, we've got, obviously, you know, got massive revenues. We've also got players on big contracts and that. We've also, you know, got our players on big contracts and all that. But like I did do my video to you guys yesterday, I give you my predictions for this season. Now, I know it's a bit too early to say, but, you know, I'll still give you my predictions of what I think the top four is going to be. I did say I think City are going to win the league because City are a really, really good team. Obviously, you know, they're going for their third league in a row. Obviously, they're going for their fifth in all of Manchester City and that. A bit too early to say that. You know, some people are saying, you know, don't discard Liverpool. You know, Liverpool, you know, could win it this season. You know, like I said, I think it is going to be between City and Liverpool this season, just like it was last season between Manchester City and Liverpool and that. I think we're going to finish third this season. I think we'll definitely, you know, finish in the top three. I think with Tottenham, they should be challenging this season. You know, looking at, you know, what they, you know, the business they did throughout the course of the summer. You know, they did really, really well on deadline day, did Tottenham. So I think Tottenham, you know, should be challenging this season. I think they've been very consistent for a number of years now with Tottenham. They have come close on a couple of occasions, you know, to winning the league and that. You know, they got to their first Champions League final last season. They did Tottenham and that. So Tottenham, you know, this is the best Tottenham team I've seen this generation for a long, long time, and they have got good players there in Tottenham, but I'm still sceptical about them, you know, winning the league this season and that, because there's obviously teams that are, you know, obviously on another level to Tottenham. You know, City are on another level to Tottenham. You know, Liverpool and that are on another level to Tottenham. And obviously City and Liverpool a couple of years ahead of us, a couple of years ahead of my club, Manchester United and that. And I did say it's very imperative that we'll catch up over the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool. But I think City are going to win it, like I said. I think Liverpool probably going to finish second. I think, you know, my club, Manchester United, could win another Premier League title before Liverpool win the Premier League title, you know, believe it or not. But Liverpool are strides ahead of us at the moment. No, Liverpool obviously have never won the Premier League. You know, they haven't won it since it got founded in 92, 93. They haven't won it all in all, you know, for 3 decades. Liverpool, of course, earlier on this week won the Super Cup. You know, they beat Chelsea 5-4 on penalties. Obviously now Liverpool have actually overall won more trophies than us. I think they've won 43. You know, we've only won 42 in that. But it doesn't make them a better side than us overall and that, because obviously, you know, we've won 20 Premier League titles, 13 then Premier League titles. So obviously, you know, I still say, you know, we're better than Liverpool, you know, historically in that. But they are the two most successful clubs, you know, in England, you know, historically, Liverpool and Manchester United. My opinions on Chelsea, I think they're going to enjoy a difficult time this season, Chelsea, because Chelsea have got quite a few problems, you know. Obviously, they got a transfer ban, so they can't do any transfer activity. Well, they didn't do any transfer activity throughout the course of the summer, you know, they can't do any transfer activity in January. They also lost one of the best players throughout the course of the summer, did Chelsea. They'll obviously, you know, they lost Eden Hazard. And, you know, Frank Lampard, these question marks around him, you know, can he, you know, succeed, you know, to the highest level of management, because, you know, Frank Lampard hasn't really got the experience of a manager. You know, he only started in management last season with Derby. I think he did, you know, get Derby to the playoff final and all that, but I don't know if he can succeed as a manager, Lampard. Don't get me wrong, he knows the traditions of Chelsea and that. He knows the culture of their football club and that, and obviously he was a great player for them for 13 years. Obviously he was is their all-time record leading goal scorer with 211 goals, and that is Frank Lampard. But, you know, I don't know if he can succeed at management and all that. And you know, time will tell this season. You know, Chelsea have had a bad start, you know, losing their first game against us at Old Trafford, also losing, you know, against Liverpool in the Super Cup and that. So I think Chelsea, if they don't back Lampard enough, I think they're going to enjoy a very, very difficult time. Also, Chelsea have also got some injury problems as well, so I don't think Chelsea are going to finish in the top 4 this season. With Arsenal, obviously they rode their luck a bit against Newcastle, but still got the win. Arsenal, I don't think they'll win the league this season, but I think they should actually, you know, finish in the top 4 at least. Arsenal, I think they'll have a better season this season than what they had last season. You know, Arsenal did really, really good transfer business, you know, throughout the course of the summer. Even though they had a bad start to it, you know, because don't forget Arsenal only got around what £40 million to spend, and you know they did really well throughout the course of the summer. So Arsenal, you know, should be finishing in that top four this season. But for me, I think City are going to win the league this season. I've been really honest about Manchester City. You know, I've praised them, and I hate to praise a team that I don't like. And I've also praised Liverpool, and I hate to praise a team that I don't like and that. But you just, it's all, on this channel, it's all about, you know, giving your honest opinions, and I am, you know, being very honest. You know, Manchester City are strides ahead of us at the moment. You know, I've praised them for what they've done. You know, they've got a really good manager who's got a fantastic philosophy in that. You know, a hell of a lot of money has been spent at Manchester City in that. You know, they've got great players. You know, they play great attacking football, they score good goals, they're defensively also very good as well in Man City. And yeah, very good team in that. And I think, you know, Pep Guardiola is emulating, you know, the football, what he did at Barcelona and Bayern Munich, and of course he's brought that to Manchester City. And I think he's been at Manchester City now, is it right? I think around, is it 3 years? Something like that anyway. He's been at Manchester City as Pep Guardiola. Obviously, you know, City will want to win the Champions League, because obviously, you know, City haven't, obviously, you know, won the Champions League as yet. But I've been honest about them. You know, I've put them in front of my club, Manchester United. I've put them in front of a team that, you know, won 3 back-to-back Premier League titles back in, you know, 2007, 2008, 2009. Also put them in front of a team that, you know, won the treble back in 1999. Of course, obviously that's one of our greatest. That's one of our greatest achievements. And that, obviously, it was one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's most iconic moments as a player. In that, obviously, you know, City made history last season by winning, you know, yeah, they won the treble last season. The English domestic treble, that is the one, did Manchester City. But I think, you know, City are going to do really well this season. But hopefully, you know, we can continue our winning form up against Wolves. I'm confident, you know, Manchester United can win it. Like I said yesterday, I give my score prediction. I think it will end 3-1 to Manchester United. But it will be a pretty difficult game, because Wolves, like I said early on in the video, you know, they're a well-organised team. They're good on the counter-attack. They're good from set piece and that. They're very compassive. The record against the top 6 sides is very good in that. And look at Solskjaer's record against Wolves, it's not very good, because obviously, you know, he's lost all his 3 games against Wolves, twice with Man United last season, like I said earlier on the video, and also I think lost once when he was Cardiff manager. But Solskjaer, it didn't work out for him when he was Cardiff manager. He only had a short tenure with Cardiff anywhere, but he has got a bit of experience as a manager, Solskjaer, not really to the highest level though. Obviously, you know, he won a couple of Norwegian titles with Molde, so that was a great achievement in that. You know, he did well in his first 3 months when he was the interim manager at Manchester United last season. You know, he also managed the Manchester United reserve team for a couple of years, don't forget. So Solskjaer knows his club inside out. Now, I'm hopeful that we can keep Solskjaer at Man United, because, you know, we haven't got the structure to keep sacking managers. You know, already 3 managers have been sacked, you know, since Alex Ferguson's retirement, as you all know. But like I said, I'm confident it is going to work out under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So I might actually watch his press conference, and that I might go have a glimpse at it now. His current press conference. I think in his press conference he was going to be asked about, you know, the situation with Alexis Sanchez and that. And like I said, Solskjaer's confirmed that Sanchez is, you know, he believes that Sanchez still wants to be part of the Manchester United squad and that. We do know he's been below on his fitness and that. He expects better things from Fred this season and that. But he will rotate the squad a little bit in this game against Wolves. He could even go with a different formation than the 4-2-3-1. But I think the 4-2-3-1 will be a formation that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer goes with on a regular basis this season. Could go with 4-3-3 a couple of times, and may go with other formations. He could even some games go with a 5-3-2. You don't know really, but you know, we looked very that 4-2-3-1 stood out for me against Chelsea in that, and I think he'll go with that formation regularly this season. But I don't think he'll go with the same teams as he did do against Chelsea. He will rotate a little bit in that, because that's what you're supposed to do. You can't just keep going with the same team. Everybody, of course, has got to get given the opportunity in that, and you know they will get given the opportunity. My opinions on Juan Mata. I don't think Juan Mata, you know, will start this game. Obviously, Juan Mata isn't first choice now anyway. I know Juan Mata, you know, did well towards the back end of last season. You know, Juan Mata can play on the right. He can also play in that number 10. Basically, just like Lingard, he can play in number 10. He can also play on the right. But obviously, Lingard is first choice over Juan Mata. Obviously, Juan Mata's aging up now. Is he, 31 years of age now? Is he, Juan Mata? Obviously, the club had given him a new contract. He signed a 2-year contract with an option to extend it by a further year. At one point, it was looking like Mata was going to be going at one point. But obviously, no, we just decided, obviously, to give Juan Mata a new new contract term and that. But I think he's been a very good servant for Manchester United as Juan Mata. He has been a very, very good servant for the football club. I think he's been at Manchester United now over 5 years. He's heading into his 6th season now as a Manchester United player. I think Juan Mata, of course, I think he's made about 218 appearances, scored 45 goals. I think it's something like that anywhere. Like I currently said, and he's been very, very good since his arrival from Chelsea, you know, back in 2014 and that, but he's no longer first choice for Manchester United and that. But yeah, I think we have got a pretty decent squad. We have got a pretty decent squad. With regards to De Gea, obviously, you know, he's agreed a 6-year contract with Manchester United, worth to around £117 million over 6 years, and I think it is around £375,000 a week. I don't actually think this contract has been announced as yet. If I'm right, I haven't, you know, really heard much about it, but I'm glad De Gea is staying at the football club anyway. You know, he's been here 8 years. He's heading into his 9th season. Well, he's in his 9th season now. Sorry, as a Manchester United player, is De Gea, and obviously at one point it was looking like he was going to leave because obviously we was getting nowhere in contract negotiations. But as he did confirm a while back, you know, that we'd held. There'd been breakthrough in negotiations between Manchester United and David De Gea's agent, you know, George Mendes and that. Obviously, initially £300,000 a week had been offered for him on the table since the turn of the year. But obviously, we just come to terms saying, look, we're going to meet you for your £150,000 a week wage demands, and we did do that. But actually, it isn't £350,000 a week; it's £375,000 a week. On his current contract, he was obviously on £200,000 a week, so get around £175,000 pay rise in that. And obviously, De Gea at one point did want to leave the football club because we was not willing to meet his wage demands for a long, long time and that. But I said we'd been in negotiations of getting David De Gea a new contract at least for the last 18 or 19 months. Obviously, you know, throughout the course of the summer there's been rumours about it. There's been rumours, you know, linked him with a move to PSG. Also, he'd been linked to a move to Real Madrid for a number of years. Real Madrid were in for him, don't forget. Real Madrid, I think, had been in for him, you know, since 2015 and that. I think they'd been in for him since 2015. Don't forget, Real Madrid were on the brink of getting him back in 2015, but due to fax machine, of course, the deal never materialised. It never materialised, and he obviously, you know, stayed there with Man United. I think also Juventus were in for David De Gea, but David De Gea, I think, has had 7 good years out of 8 at Manchester United. You know, I thought he had about 3 months last season, did De Gea, because of, you know, the mistakes and that I was making. But apart from that, he's been absolutely fantastic, and he's obviously won the club's Clubs Player of the Year award. Is it like 4 times out of the last 6 seasons? It's something like that. Reflecting on his impressive performances, I think he's also, you know, won the Matt Buzzer Player of the Year quite a few times as De Gea. But I'm glad he's staying at the football club. I think he's made over 300 odd appearances in all competitions as David De Gea, and I think he's 28 years of age, just still got a hell of a lot of years ahead of him in that. So I'm very, very glad he's signed a 6-year contract term with De Gea. And we have got players that are on long-term contracts now. You've got Harry Maguire, of course. He's got a 6-year contract, you know, with an option to extend it by a further year. Obviously, like I said, Smalling Jones signed new long-term contracts last season. Martial's under contract with the club till 2024. He signed a 5-year deal back in January. Obviously, you know, Rashford, you know, he's under contract with the club till 2023, I think, with an option to extend it by a further year as well. But yeah, we have now got players on long-term contracts as well. And Wan-Bissaka, I think he's a 5 or 6 year contract. I think Daniel James is a 5-year contract, I think, with an option to extend it by a further year. But yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to this game against Wolves. It's going to be a really, really good game, and that I think, you know, both teams are going to score and that. But I think there's going to be vast improvements in Man United this season, because I can see the improvements will look much better in the attacking third of the pitch. We're going to score more goals this season than what we scored last season, and I don't think we're going to concede nowhere near as many as we did last season, because last season we conceded 54 goals in 38 Premier League games, and obviously, you know, that was our highest total, of course, in 40 years, and that we conceded 54 last season. We only managed 53 goals there last season, so it was really, really disappointing last season. That. But 6 is obviously, you know, not the lowest we've finished. I think the lowest we've finished, I think it's actually, you know, 7th, and that was actually, you know, back under the David Moyes era and that. But actually back under the Alex Ferguson era, you know, the lowest we actually, you know, finished, I think, was 3rd in that. But like I said, you know, no one's going to ever follow Alex Ferguson's legacy. You know, we're never going to achieve what we achieved under Alex Ferguson and that's something obviously we've got to accept. But I think, you know, we are going to be back, you know, to being a competitive elite level football club. But our expectations this season will be to finish in that top 4. I think our aspirations in the next couple of seasons will be that top 4. But if we can make further more investment in January, get the midfielder that we want in, get the midfielder that we want in, at least one midfielder, and maybe get a right winner in. I think we can challenge. I think we can win the league next season, let alone challenge. You know, that's my opinion on that. With Paul Pogba, there's still uncertainty around his future, of course. Obviously, we do know that, you know, Paul Pogba confirmed a couple of months ago that, you know, he wants to leave Manchester United. He publicly admitted this. He did say, you know, that he's seeking for a new challenge in that. So Paul Pogba came out the other week though and still said he's fully committed there to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's project and that. There were reports coming out yesterday, I think, from TalkSport saying that, you know, Paul Pogba could remain loyal to Manchester United and reject a move to Real Madrid, because we do know for the entirety of the summer that Paul Pogba's been heavily linked with a move to Real Madrid, and that obviously there has been talks about him, you know, making a return back to Turin and that. Because obviously he did have 4 good years in Turin. Hasn't mainly, you know, replicated this at Manchester United and that. But with Paul Pogba, you know, we've got to keep him out of the football club anyway, you know, without failing to get a midfielder in. And obviously, if we keep Paul Pogba, we've got to try and avoid him, you know, getting injured. Because you can see the difference in that midfield, you know, when Paul Pogba's playing. He brings that creativeness in that midfield. You know, he's like 2 players in one when he's at his best form. We have seen him at his best at Manchester United, you know, Paul Pogba and that. But hopefully, you know, we can do everything we can, you know, to try and convince him to remain at the football club. But we have seen Paul Pogba in his best form. And I think he performs better when he's freed up. And that got proven in that 3-month period when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager. We saw Paul Pogba, you know, at his best when he was freed up, and it's when Ander Herrera was playing we mainly saw Paul Pogba at his best. So that just indicates how much of an impact Ander Herrera did make, of course, when he was at Manchester United and that. So there's still uncertainty around Paul Pogba's future and that, but Paul Pogba still indicated out that he could leave Manchester United this summer and that. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel if you do consider subscribing as always, and take care, God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.